welcome to our math video tutorials. And today, we are going to discuss factoring special products.
Okay, so for today, we are going to discuss factoring the special products. So we have three special products here. First is the difference of two squares. The second one is sum or difference of two cubes. And the last is perfect square trinomial. Okay, let's start. Okay, so first is the difference of two squares. So the product of x plus y and x minus y is equal to x squared minus y squared. For the product of the sum and difference of two terms is equal to the difference of their squares. And factoring is the reverse process of multiplication, right? So since x plus y times x minus y is x squared minus y squared, therefore, the factor of x squared minus y squared is x plus y times x minus y. Okay. So a binomial, which is difference of two squares, can easily be factored. This can be done by reversing the relation on special products. Since the product of the sum and difference of two terms is the difference of their squares, therefore, the factor of x squared minus y squared is the product of x plus y times x minus y. Okay, so let's have an example. Okay, so let's try this. So of course, it is important that you know how to find the square root. Okay, and also a perfect square. Let's try number one, x squared minus 64. So let's check if this is a difference of two squares. Of course, x squared, let us write this as difference of two squares. Okay, x squared is just simply x squared, right? And also, minus the 64 is 8 squared. So this is the difference of the two squares, right? So therefore, the factor of x squared minus 64 is so since these are the two terms, x and 8, so we will just write the sum and the difference. Okay? So the sum of x and 8 is x plus 8. And then their difference is x minus 8. Okay? So since the product of x plus 8 and x minus 8 is x squared minus 64. But first, let us check if that is correct. Let us try the FOIL method. So, x times x, that is x squared, right? Then x times negative 8, that is negative 8x. 8 times x, that is positive 8x. 8 times negative 8, that is negative 64. And since negative 8x plus 8x is 0, so the answer is x squared minus 64. So therefore, the factor of x squared minus 64 is x plus 8 times x minus 8. Okay. So let's try number 2. So again, let us write this as the difference of two squares. So y squared, of course, that is y squared minus The 121 is, so what number that you multiply to itself that comes up what? 121. Okay, so that is 11. So y squared minus 11 squared. So since we already write it as the difference of two squares, so the factor of y squared minus 121 is the sum of y and 11 multiplied to the difference. Okay. Therefore, it is y plus 11 times y minus 11. Okay. Next, for number 3, we have 16, which is 4 squared. Then x squared. Okay. So we will just add 4 and x, and then we will just multiply the sum and the difference of this. So 4 plus x times 4 minus x. That's it. So this is the answer. Okay, next for number 4, 81 minus a squared. We all know that 81 is 9 times 9. Right? So 81 is 9 squared minus a squared. So we have 9 plus a times 9 minus a. Okay? So that is the factor of 81 minus a squared. Okay, last for the difference of two squares. 25x squared minus 4. Okay, so 25x squared is just 5x squared, right? Since 5x squared is 25x squared, and then minus of the 4 is 2 squared. Then the next one is, the factors are the sum of 5x and 2, and the difference of 5x and 2. So we have 5x plus 2 times 5x minus 2. Okay? So that is how we factor the difference of two squares. It's easy, right? Okay. How about this? Factor 4y squared minus 36y raised to 6 completely. Okay? So, we all know that 4y squared is a perfect square since 2y times 2y is 4y squared. And 36y raised to 6 is also a perfect square since 6y cubed times 6y cubed is 36y raised to 6. But first, I'll look for the terms if they have the common monomial factor. Okay? So, so the common monomial factor here, the 4 and 36, they are divisible by 4, then y squared. So the common monomial factor is 4y squared. Then by dividing 4y squared divided by 4y squared, that is 1. Then negative 36y raised to 6 divided by 4y squared is negative 9y raised to 4. And then 1 minus 9y raised to 4 is a difference of two squares. So this is 1 squared, this is 3y squared. The 9y raised to 4 is 3y squared, or the square of 3y squared, right? Okay. So therefore, the answer is 4y squared times the quantity 1 plus 3y squared times the quantity 1 minus 3y squared. Or 4y squared times 1 minus 3y squared times 1 plus 3y squared. It can be interchanged. Okay. So next is factoring the sum or difference of two cubes. Okay. So factoring the sum or difference of two cubes is the reverse process of product of binomial and trinomial, or the special. That's why it's a special product. Okay. So this is the sum of two cubes, since x cubed plus y cubed, and this is the difference of two cubes, x cubed minus y cubed. Okay. So x plus y times x squared minus xy plus y squared. So if you multiply this, if you try to multiply this, the answer is this. And if you try to multiply this one, the answer is the difference of two cubes. And as you can see, x cubed, this is x, so that is simply the this should be minus. Okay, sorry. This is my, okay. Okay, and then y becomes y cubed, right? Then in the second factor, x squared, okay? Then the last term is y squared. Then the middle is the product of x and y, but in opposite sign of this. Okay, so let's have an example. Okay, so the first is the sum of two cubes. The sum of two cubes of two terms is equal to the sum of the two terms multiplied by the sum of the squares of these terms minus the product of these two terms. So, to factor the sum of two cubes, we have a cube plus b cube. So this is the sum of two cubes. So we have to find the cube root. Okay, the cube root of a. So we can write this as a cube, and then the b cube as b cube. Okay, so the first one is the sum of the two terms. Okay, so the sum of the two terms, so these are the two terms, a and b. So we have a plus b, and then multiplied by the sum of the squares of these terms minus the product of these two terms. So the square of a is a squared. The square of b is b squared. And then we subtract the product of a and b. That is ab. Okay, so just remember so. Okay. So if this is plus or positive, therefore this is s, or the same. Okay, same. And then the next sign is negative. So it is opposite. If this is positive, this will become negative. And then the AP means always positive. Okay, so same, opposite, always positive. Just like the difference of two cubes. Okay, so a cube minus b cube. So the cube root of a cube is a, cube root of b cube is b. And then if we multiply a squared, then b squared, then a times b, that is ab, then it should be opposite, right? So the word soap. So this should be same, okay? The s. Then opposite, if it is minus, the next one is positive. So this is opposite. Then this is always positive. Okay? Example, factor x cubed plus 27. Okay, so the answer is x plus 3 times x squared minus 3x plus 9. If you want to check if your answer is correct, x times x squared, that is x cubed, x times negative 3x, that is negative 3x squared, x times 9, that is positive 9x. The next, 3 times x squared, that is positive 3x squared. Okay, so the answer is x plus 3 times x squared minus 3x plus 9. Next is y cubed minus 8. That is y minus 2 times y squared plus 2y plus 4. Okay, so first, we can write x cubed plus 64 as x cubed. So this is the cube root. Okay, then cube plus the cube root of 64 is 4. Since 4 times 4 times 4, that is 64. So the first is to write x, then same sign, plus 4. Right? X plus 4. Then square this. This is x squared. Square the 4, that is 16. Then the product is 4x. So this should be opposite of this, right? Okay, factor 16z raised to 5 minus 250z square completely. Okay, so as you can see, there is a CMF. So what do you think is the CMF of 16z raised to 5 and 250z squared? So the common monomial factor is 2z squared. 2z squared. Okay? Then 16z raised to 5 divided by 2z squared is 8z cubed. Then negative 250z squared divided by 2z squared is 125. And notice that this is a difference of two squares. Two cubes rather. Since 8z cubed is 2z cubed. 2z times 2z times 2z is equal to 8z cubed. Then 5 cubed is 125. So the answer is 2z squared times, just copy this 2z, then same sign, minus 5. Then the square of 2z is 4z squared. The square of 5 is 25. 2z times 5, that is 10z. Then it should be always opposite. Okay? Okay, the last one is the perfect square trinomial. So a perfect square trinomial is the result of squaring a binomial. A perfect square trinomial has first and last terms which are perfect squares and a middle term which is twice the product of the square root of the first and last terms. So in factoring a perfect square trinomial is the reverse process of squaring of a binomial. Okay. So in squaring a binomial, we know that the first term is the square of this, that is x squared. The second term is twice the product of this, that is 2xy. And then the last term is the square of the second term, which is y squared. So therefore, the factor of x squared plus 2xy plus y squared is simply the square of this x plus y. And the factor of x squared minus 2xy plus y squared is x minus y squared. So of course, it is important that you check if it is a perfect square trinomial. So complete the perfect square trinomial and factor them. Again, to become a perfect square trinomial, so the first and last term should be a perfect square. So since 64 is a perfect square, since that is 8 squared, so we can write 8 here. Then this second term or the middle term is twice the product. Okay? So since this is twice the product, if we divide this by 2, that is 8x, then divide also by 8, that is x. So we have x. Then the middle term, if this is positive, so this is plus. Okay, so the answer is x plus 8 squared, and this is x squared. Okay, next. Again, the first and the last should be a perfect square. So the square root of x squared is x. The square root of 49 is 7. And the middle term is negative. So this is negative. So the answer is x minus 7 squared. And this is, the middle term should be twice the product. So twice the product of x and negative 7, that is 14x. And next, for number 3, x squared plus 4x plus blank. So since the square root of x squared is x, and this is positive, so this should be positive. Okay, so what should be the value of this, or what number is this? So since this is 4x, and this is twice the product of this, so if we divide this by 2, that is 2x, then divide by x, that is 2. Okay? Therefore, this is 4, since 2 squared is 4. Okay, next, number 4. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of 9y squared, that is 3y. Then, the middle term is also designed for this. So the answer is x plus 3y squared. Okay, next, number 5. So since the square root of 25 is 5, the middle term is positive. Okay, so this one is twice the product of the two terms. So 10k divided by 2. So we divided by 2, that is 5k. Divide it by 5. So 5k divided by 5, that is k. Okay, so the answer is k plus 5 squared, and this is k squared. And this is x times 3y, 3xy times 2, 6xy. Okay. Okay, so in factoring a perfect square trinomial, the following should be noted. First, number 1, the factors are binomials with like terms, wherein the terms are the square roots of the first and the last terms of the trinomial. So we will just find the square root of the first and the last term. Next, the sign connecting the terms of the binomial factors is the same as the sign of the middle term of the trinomial. So if the sign of the middle term of the trinomial is positive, then the sign connecting the terms of the binomial is also positive. Okay, example. So number 1, factor each of the following completely. So this is the square root of x squared, that is x. The square root of 36, that is 6. Then the sign should be the sign of the middle term. So that is x plus 6 squared. And also check for the middle term. The middle term should be twice the product of x and 6. Okay, the product of x and 6 is 6x times 2, that is 12x. Okay, next, number 2. The square root of x squared, that is x. The square root of 81 is 9. Okay, and then the sign should be the sign of the middle term. So that is minus. So check if the middle term is twice the product. X times negative 9 is negative 9. X times 2, that is negative 8. Okay. So number 3, the square root of x squared is x. Square root of 121 is 11. Okay. And it should be positive since this is positive. And x times 11, that is 11x times 2, that is 22x. So this is correct. Next, for number 4, the square root of 64 is 8. The square root of a squared is a. And since this is positive, this should be also positive. So the answer is a plus a squared. And 8 times a is 8a times 2, that is 16a. Last, for number 5. The square root of 25x squared, that is 5x. The square root of 1 is 1. Then, the sign should be positive. So, 5x plus 1 squared. So, the middle term should be twice the product. And that is 5x times 1, that is 5x times 2, that is 10x. So, this is correct. Okay? Okay, so that's the end. So, I hope you learned something. Thank you, guys.